Well, today's ride is brought to you through a cheesy voiceover. My helmet mic decided to pack it in, so there was no audio for the entire journey. It's a bit disappointing, but that wasn't the worst disappointment as far as technology goes on this journey, as you'll see later. Anyway, the main point of this ride was going to the centre of the North Island, and I've done that before, but I wanted to see if you could get all the way through the forest park. So that was my goal, and then explore a few other roads on the way. So let's have a look at the video without a helmet mic. On the way up to the centre of the North Island, there's the Kakaho Campsite. Thought I'd swing in and have a bit of a look at in case I want to stay there. And the top part of it here seems really aimed at vehicles, or it's used heavily by vehicles. And of course, as seems traditional nowadays, people seem to do donuts around the campsite, which is not very nice. But the lower part of the campsite is much more tent friendly, much more grass, and I think there's a stream nearby to get water from, so quite a pleasant area, that one. Turn off to the centre of North Island isn't well signposted. There is a sign there, but it is hidden behind the gorse bushes. So yeah, keep your eyes open if you're heading that way, and really just look for the other yellow caution signs around. The final turn-in to get to the centre of North Island car park doesn't have any signpost at all, so it's really easy to miss it. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. we go. The geographic centre of the North Island. It just happens to be right next to the biggest tree in this part of the forest. But yeah, so I don't know how accurate this marker really is, because it was calculated by some people cutting out a cardboard outline of the North Island and then trying to find, using a pin and a piece of string, whereabouts it would hang balanced. And this was the place that they came up with. But of course, who knows what they did for things like the islands around the coast, and how accurate was the cutout to start with. But it's a nice thing anyway. It's a good destination. But my main task today is riding the motorbike, so let's go back and do that. Oh well, I thought it'd just be some rusted thing sitting out in the bush somewhere. It's been cleaned up a bit and put on display. So that's not going to be the comfiest of rides though. I think it probably had something a little bit more substantial on its trailer when it was being used. So this is the smallest tractor in the Caterpillar range, built in the mid-20s. Interesting, but I need to get moving. Remember at the start when I said that my microphone wasn't the worst technological failure? Well, the other one's coming up very soon. Well, that was a bit of a expensive mission, that one, because busted. So yeah, there's not going to be any more drone shots for a while. Yeah, bit of a shame. Nothing I can do about it now though, so pack it up and get back on the road. And there we go, as is fairly standard with me nowadays, the route I was taking ends at a private property. Trespassers will be prosecuted, so they're not going through that gate. So yep, head back. So yep, that was another disappointment to add to the journey, but at least I got to ride back down those roads, which were quite nice. So just north of Tamaranui is this memorial to the people killed at the Ongarue railway disaster in 1923. Yeah, 17 people were killed, 28 others were injured. There were 200 people on the train, including the Maori rugby team. And it was the biggest, or the worst, rail disaster in New Zealand at the time. So interesting, they've got a big memorial here for it. So there we go, that was the ride. So the main task was seeing if I could get through the Pureora Forest Park, through the centre of the North Island, and that was a success. In fact, the western side of it, after the centre, the roads were much better than on the eastern side near Taupo. So that was really good to know. But of course the downside, losing the drone, crashing the drone, that put a bit of a dampener on things. But it's just a thing, so it can be replaced or rebuilt or whatever. So that's my problem. But yeah, means the next video or two may not have any drone shots. Anyway, hope you enjoy this video despite all that. And I'll see what I can do next time. And hopefully get the microphone going as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.